Hello, it's me again. This video is about dealing with toxic nurses in the workplace. So when you finally become a nurse, or if you are currently a nurse, it is upsetting, obviously, to work with any nurse that just has such a bad attitude, as if the situation isn't already stressful, You don't help. So I'm gonna set the timer for 5 minutes and going to see what I can bust out here. If you're a nurse and you are if you are a student nurse, and you are following someone during clinical, or you are a new nurse and you're being precepted by someone, my message to all the current nurses out there, could you please try to be a little bit empathetic? Usually nurses are empathetic, We remember our experience when we were trying to become a nurse. We put ourselves in people's shoes. But I find that when I was in bedside, people aren't doing that. They're not doing that. They get exacerbated, they sigh, they throw a tantrum, they have an attitude, they give the nursing student or the new grad the silent treatment when they come on the floor and they find that they have a student. It's part of your job. If you're at a teaching hospital, please understand that it is part of your job. If you're at a hospital, period, it's part of your job. You need to understand that you may get assigned a student. They need to learn just like you learned, And try not to pass down your experience. If you had an a-hole nurse, be that nurse that stops that pattern. Stop treating other nurses with the same treatment that you were treated with. They didn't do that to you. They didn't do that to you. So make their lives a little bit better. Give them the sense of what nursing can be, and that nurses are not assholes. Because I swear, there's a lot of that going on. There's a lot of your attitude that nobody even asked for, that nobody was the cause of, towards a new nursling, I like to call them. They're trying to get their experience. They're trying to be the best nurse like you are. Cut them some slack. Don't treat them with disrespect just because you are jaded and have gotten a lot of disrespect in your own position. If you don't like your job, like I've said before, go get another one. You don't have to transfer that attitude onto anybody else. And this is basically towards anybody in any job. Why do you have an attitude? Because you have to train someone. If you have an attitude for that, then maybe you shouldn't be in the job that you're in. Everybody deserves the opportunity to learn and grow. Now, nursing students and new grads, if you are working with a nurse that is giving of her time and trying to train you, the least you can do is actually listen to that nurse, unless she's making a fatal mistake. Please report that to the charge nurse. Please report it to your clinical professor. But I'm sure that they would appreciate if you talk to them first. Pull them aside in private. Ask why they chose to do this so that you can have better understanding, because most of the time you don't understand why they're doing what they're doing, but their experience may trump your understanding. So they can explain it for you. Most of the time when you get out on the floor, things are a lot less different than what you learned in nursing school. Not because anybody's breaking a rule, but because they've learned a more efficient process to doing things, or maybe that is the policy of the hospital. So there may be some reasons as to why a nurse is doing what they're doing, but make it easier for them. Listen to them. Don't try to disprove everything that they say. In that moment, when you're following them, they are the experts. They are your guide. So bounce anything that you can off of them. Try not to be a burden to them. Try to be more helpful than you are asking questions. Maybe save all your questions for the end of the shift or when they're about to chart. Know when you should speak to them. Know when you should bother them with multiple questions. When it's time to work, it's time to work. They're trying to get things done on time. They're trying to, this camera's not adjusting. They're trying to trying to keep a schedule most of the time. And just don't be the cause of that schedule falling apart. We have this idea sometimes of what we'd like to do and where we'd like to be by 9 o'clock or whatever. In our nursing care day. So nurses that are going to be nurses or that have become new nurses, know your limits, know your boundaries, know what's going to irritate your nurse, use your nurse as a guide. Those of us that are already nurses and